All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this inaugural, this very first Filipino martial arts class on Wednesdays. We're going to bow the class in. Regardless of which art we're studying, we always do the salutations to acknowledge all of the arts from all over the world that have influenced me, because that's just very important in my lineage. So right hand makes a fist, left hand goes over it, abbreviated Chinese. Your right hand fist goes up to your third eye. Your left hand goes over your heart, not your stomach, your heart. And this is abbreviated Filipino. Tai is the easy one. We just do the Y position. We're right here. From the Y position, your left hand makes a table for your right hand. This is abbreviated Indonesian. Beautiful. You all look wonderful. Drop your left hand. Make a fist with your right hand. Tap your chest. Go palm down at your right side. Very nice. This is for Savat and Dog Brothers martial arts. Then Japanese, we just keep our eyes up and we give a little bow. Okay, so a little bit of water. All right. I have a multi-level curriculum that I call my Filipino martial arts core curriculum. Inosanto La Costa, the composite system of Guru Dan Inosanto, and one of his primary FMA influences, the late Master John La Costa. Inosanto La Costa will always be my mother system. About 55% of my FMA core curriculum is Inosanto La Costa. Then Pekiti Tirsia is the system that's at the head is Grand Tuhon Leo Gaje. I'm just telling you a little bit of information, not bragging here. I was recently promoted to Tuhon in Pekiti Tirsia in the Philippines. And Pekiti and I have like an ever winding road as far as a relationship, because Pekiti is a big part of Dog Brothers martial arts. So I'm a full Dog Brother. My nickname is Guide Dog. I currently am sitting at 50 fights in the Dog Brothers real contact stick environment. I am not retired, but I know I don't want to keep fighting forever. At this point, I think I'd like to fight in Canada and Europe at least once a piece, and then I'll make some decisions. Dog Brothers has a curriculum that surprises a lot of people, because a lot of people think that Dog Brothers is just wailing on each other, and it's not. There is a really smart, comprehensive, in-depth curriculum, and informed primarily by Inosanto La Costa, Pekiti Tirsia, and Mayo. I also have a Balintawak instructorship under Master Virgil Cavada, and a Doce instructorship under Sonny Mayo out of Queens. I don't know what you all have available to you or what kind of environment you're training in, but I'm going to make some suggestions so that everybody can train. This is right off camera, is a stapler, and I know this might seem a little bit silly. I'm not trying to be like the Carrot Top of the martial arts world. I'm not doing prop comedy. I'm trying to illustrate a point. If you have training sticks, grab one. If you don't, look around your living environment. This is a 3-hole punch that was off camera. If I absolutely had to, I could train with this. And most of you look like you have sticks though. And the last thing I'll say, and then I'll pick up a stick. If you don't have anything, take your forefinger of your dominant hand. And I know the first time I saw that, I thought that was really ridiculous, but it's actually a really good way to train. This way, everybody's safe. It looks like everybody's got sticks, so maybe I should just shut up. But all right, I'm gonna work with the soft stick because it'll make my wife a lot more comfortable with me in the living room. The first numbering system that I teach is called Eskrima 1, okay? Eskrima 1 was the first numbering system that Guru Inosanto ever taught commercially at the old Torrance Academy, the Kali Academy. in Torrance, California. And this was the first 12-angle numbering system that was ever taught to me. This is the first thing that I teach everybody, regardless of their experience level, okay? So angle 1, forehand diagonal, clavicle to hip. Very common strike in a lot of systems. Angle 2, backhand diagonal, clavicle to hip. 3, forehand horizontal to the midline. 4, backhand horizontal to the midline. And a 5, palm up thrust. When I say palm up thrust, I always like to say do your Popeye impression, like you're showing off how buff your forearms are, and give that a little bit of flex. Okay? Those are the first 5 angles. That's probably within the grasp of everybody. Forehand diagonal, backhand diagonal, forehand horizontal, backhand horizontal, palm up thrust. When I'm working with brand new people, most like they've never picked up a stick, which is obviously not most of the people here, that is very much within the grasp of most people. Now be real clear. I'm not saying these are the angles and everything else is wrong. I'm absolutely not saying that to you. I am saying to you, the first numbering system that I teach in my curriculum is called Eskrima 1, and those are the first 5 angles. So I want to be real clear. I don't spend a lot of time on tribalism or politics. It wastes time. It chips away at the morale of the greater martial arts community. I believe in acknowledging your sources, and however naive it makes me, Guru Dan is my primary martial arts influence, period, in all things. So I believe that everybody has something to offer if you just close your mouth and kind of learn from them. That's why I have 5 instructorships in different FMA systems, because I don't know how to stop learning from quality people, okay? And I mean that in a positive way. So one more time. 1, 2, 3, keep the live hand up. 4, palm up thrust for 5. Freeze that out. Okay, let's finish this. 6, palm outward thrust to the chest. Forehand side. Forehand side. So your right, if you're doing it right-handed, there we go. Right hand palm should be out to your right. Then 7, arc thrust to the backhand side. Beautiful. 7 to 8 is the hardest, but the group I have here, you should be okay. Without opening up your hand, flip this to hit the person in their right temple. Let it go low. I'm doing that on purpose. That's 8. So one more time. 6, 7, arc thrust, backhand. 8, hit them in their right temple. Let the weapon go low. 9, rising diagonal to their knee. 10, backhand rising diagonal to their knee. Flip the stick over and hit them in their left temple. Bring this down to your right side. 12, thrust all the way up. And on your left shoulder. Left shoulder. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. The reason being, if I end on my right shoulder, even on camera, you can see how exposed I am. If I end on my left shoulder, super easy for me to, if I miss or if I don't do enough damage, to come back into some kind of structure. So let's do that all again, maybe 1 or 2 more times. 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, palm up thrust to the belly, 5, palm outward thrust to the chest, 6, arc thrust to the other side of the chest, 7, without opening your hand, backhand downward diagonal to the temple, 9, forehand rising diagonal to the left knee, 10, backhand rising diagonal to the right knee, 11, flip it over and hit them in their left temple, bring it down to your armpit, and 12. 12 just thrusts all the way up, and whatever I can get, if it's the chin or if it's the hand in the chin or just the hand. And again, we end on our left shoulder rather than our right. That was really, really nice. Good. Okay. Can I borrow you for a few minutes? Okay. So today, everybody, I'm sorry, the only one that really can help me right now is my daughter. And she does train with me, but she trains in my Kid Persist, my youth program, and legitimately has her yellow belt. But this orange belt, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, I said the wrong belt. Sorry, orange belt. And I demoted you verbally, 1 belt. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have her help me with a few things that she knows from the curriculum for your own understanding. It looks like a lot of you are solo, which is fine, but this way, maybe if you do have somebody, eventually you know kind of what to work on. So, Katana, just Scarecrow. Okay, so that numbering system, everybody, that we just went over, I'm going to touch you, not hit you, okay? Angle 1, clavicle to hip. Angle 2, clavicle to hip. Now, the reason I'm taking the time to explain that, the clavicle, or more commonly the collarbone, everybody, one of the most perfect self-defense targets in existence, because it breaks with a reasonable amount of pressure that I'm sure everybody here could already generate. You have enough training. I am told, knock on wood, because I've never broken my clavicle, I am told it causes debilitating, no matter how big, buff, young you are, you're on the ground like crying for mommy style pain, unless you are on PCP. So that person would also just need medical attention, have their arm put in a splint, but that will absolutely heal. Now, why is that so important? Because angle 1 and angle 2, Scarecrow again, are not, I'm going for the temples as hard as I can. And I'm not insulting any, like Pekiti Tirsia. That's angle 1 and that's angle 2 when you do the basic abecedario. And we have those angles in Dog Brothers. However, the #1 cause of accidental death in any street situation, whether armed or unarmed, is somebody gets rendered unconscious. Because they are unconscious, they hit the ground and they can't control their fall, and they hit in just the right way and they die. That is, statistically, that's validated by military and law enforcement. The #1 cause of accidental death in street situations, okay? So that's why I'm emphasizing 1 and 2, the collarbones, very underrated, and I mean, almost perfect self-defense targets, because in this day and age of, if the fight lasts longer than 15 seconds, you're probably on a cell phone video. What is law enforcement looking at? Are they, step back, are they looking at the little guy in the black and white shirt just swung for the fences on the big guy, knocked him unconscious, and the big guy hit his head on the ground and died? Or what do they see on that video? The little guy, because I'm shorter than everybody, that's why I'm saying the little guy, in the black and the white shirt, hit the big old guy one time just in the shoulder, and then the big old guy just crumpled to the ground holding his shoulder, right? It's very humane. And I'm very aware sometimes in a real situation you don't have that luxury, and you might just have to put the person away. But that's why I'm taking the time to explain this. If you never tune in for another class, or you never, we never encounter each other ever again, for blunt impact weapons, especially if you're an instructor, for the everyday world, because I know I've got some people on here that are lifers like me. You'll be doing martial arts until the day you die. But for the everyday general public, the clavicles are some of the most perfect self-defense targets. Like when we think about empowering, doesn't matter the gender, a really, really small, maybe sort of fragile, maybe they're recovering from some illness, and heaven forbid they have to defend themselves with a blunt impact weapon. I want all of you to know that the clavicle, one of the world's most perfect self-defense targets. All right, anyways, Scarecrow. Oh, it's just Scarecrow. 1, so clavicle to hip. 2, clavicle to hip. 3, midline. 4, midline. 5, palm up thrust to the belly. Now 6, we always taught that to the chest, and I always thought that made more sense if this was a blade, right? So for blunt impact weapons, even though technically for that numbering system, 6 is to the chest, the eyes make a lot more sense. 7 is exactly the same. We teach it to the chest, but the eyes for stick, for real fight, makes more sense. Now, despite everything I just said, 7 to 8 goes to the temple. 9 is the knee, and I know that's out of frame, but rising diagonal to their left knee. 10 is backhand rising diagonal to their right knee. Then I just flip this, and despite everything I just said, I come in and hit the left temple, I arm this, and then I thrust up, okay? So that's Eskrima 1. And the reason I really like that, again, for brand new people, is the first 5 angles are well within the grasp of somebody if they always wanted to train martial arts, but they haven't done any and they just started with you. A diagonal, a horizontal, and a palm up thrust. That's not too much for most people to remember, and they can get it very quickly, okay? So where I tend to go, everybody, for single stick, and you're gonna demo this, okay, is once we learn the backhand, once we learn Eskrima 1, we go to the backhand series, which is gonna counter Eskrima 1. So I have my right side forward, okay? I'm in a right lead, dominant side is in front. I have this chambered on my backhand side. I have my left hand on my right forearm, and then once I have this position, I relax my elbows so that I'm not, sticking it out like this, that I'm here, okay? And can everybody, at whatever pace is comfortable for you, just practice doing a backhand watik, a backhand hit and retract, okay, at whatever elevation feels comfortable. In fact, try a few that are high, a few that are midline, a few that are lower. High, medium, low. High, medium, low. High, medium, low, right? So it's like a high angle, angle 4 by itself, and then like a low angle 4, because these are more lateral shots. So in the modality of, once we've learned some offense, we want one idiom of movement that can defeat all of that offense. We go, stay here, because you're going to demo. We go to the backhand series. So the backhand series is what you're seeing. Okay, so Katana's going to do it, okay? So, because most people, change your lead, most people I've just taught, again, raw beginners, which is not most of you, we've only learned the first 5 angles, so they only defend the first 5 angles. When I go for my angle 1, she hits my hand. When I go for my angle 2, she hits my hand. 3, 4, and 5. That's it. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could continue. She could backhand the 6, backhand the 7, backhand the 8, backhand the 9, backhand the 10, backhand the 11, backhand the 12. Go for it. Go down. That's it. Beautiful. Okay? So the reason I like that so much is, again, it's one idiom of movement. No matter what angles I'm giving, all you're doing is changing the elevation. And what Guro Dan has shared many times, when he works with, say, military or law enforcement, and maybe he's only got, he's only got 90 minutes with them and he's never going to see them again, this is one of the first things that he teaches, because it's one idiom movement. Face me again, Katana. I could give any angle, backhand my hand, 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 right? It's, and of course I'm going slow. I'm letting her kind of pick it off right now. But most Filipino martial arts systems only compute 3 ranges of combat. Most of them, right? Is hold your stick, largo, stick out there, largo, the range where we could hit each other's hands, the longest range, largo range, medio, hand check range, and then inside of medio, I'm not going to hit you, I promise, where I can use my puño, I can knee and I can elbow, would be corto, largo, medio, corto. Since most systems only compute those ranges, go back to your backhand position. This is destroy my hand. Trying, I mean, we've all probably heard the expression defanging the snake, but more than that, this is trying to end the conflict at largo range, right? So very simple. The first follow-up, if you all want to take this position again with me, everybody, first two follow-up, let's just teach you both, is backhand destroy whatever angle comes in, bring it back, make the X. So that's the first follow-up. Destroy the hand, make the X. And I see most everybody doing it properly. The biggest mistake, people will backhand. Don't do this because I'm showing you what not to do. They'll open and then go angle 1 and angle 2. And then all of a sudden you're on your open side and you're trying to do a block of material called the backhand series. So it doesn't work. So always return to this, what I call the home base position. You do your hand destruction shot and always come back to this home base position. So just bang out a couple more reps of backhand to X. Backhand to X, okay? And good. Most of you seem like you're striking with power. So I'll make this point. This is a very minor point. This is a trainer, everybody, so please don't worry. I'm not going to endanger my daughter. This isn't a live sword. What I'll see very often, let me do it first with a stick. What I encounter a lot with the X is the wrist roll. Does everybody see what I'm doing? Like I'm using my wrist to do the X. That's really only valid with blade, right? Because blade, just depending on what system you're studying, that's going to open flesh, right? If this is a live blade, with that wrist roll type motion, okay? My preference is what most of you are doing, which is to hit. Like blunt impact weapons, you need power, right? You don't have an edge. So most of you look like you were doing that, but just be aware if you ever encounter this block of material, if it's a stick system and the person is wrist rolling, there's just not a lot of power there. And here's one thing where, you know, let me have done the research for you if you don't want to put your body through this. You know, 50 Dog Brothers fights, blunt impact weapon, if you can't hit hard, you're in trouble. So this wrist roll it's not going to get you very far. Blade, you can do that all day long. Okay, the next one, redondo. So it's a backhand redondo. Basically, the number one mistake I see is people, they're doing it like they're doing a twirl. This is not a twirl. This is a strike. It goes 12 o'clock. And a redondo by definition is a circular strike. Most of you look really good. That starts and stops on the same side of your body from where it began. Here, okay? Now, some people they'll get a little nervous once the stick, say, passes through the target zone. I know I'm out of frame. Once it's like here until it gets back to the home base position, but destroy, think about how fast that is, right? So you're talking about a millisecond of time before this touches back down in the home base position. Okay, so what you could start doing, Katana, can I borrow you again? Okay, we're almost done. You're doing great. Okay, what you could do is then let a partner. So you're going to do the X. Destroy my hand, make the X. Destroy my hand, make the X. Destroy my hand, 3, make the X. 4, make the X. Beautiful. And 5, my fault. Make the X. Nice job. Can you do the redondo? Destroy my hand, make the redondo. Nice. 2. 3. Beautiful. 4 and 5. Nice job. Okay. And then for all of you, you can work on this in the air while she does it. Then you can do combinations. Destroy X to the redondo. Right? So you do that. Destroy, make the X to the redondo. Beautiful. 2. X to the redondo. Nice. 3. X to the redondo. Right? She could do all 5 of those, or however many angles. We could do all 12 angles if we had a longer class. Redondo to the X. Destroy my hand. Make the redondo, make the X. 2. Make the redondo, make the X. 3. Make the redondo to the X. Beautiful. Time. Okay, thank you. Okay, so for all of you that we start with the numbering system, that's called Eskrima 1. You know, and again, I will, at a bare minimum, everybody, and I know it definitely has become a cliche these days when we say like and subscribe. Please, at a bare minimum, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because this class is being recorded and I will upload it. And, you know, you can learn all 12 angles. You can start with the backhand series and really start getting that down. The only 2 other variables, and Katana doesn't train these, and the level of most of you, it's not necessary to have her demo this. The other 2 variables in that series would be the key lot. So you know you're going to backhand destroy whatever angle comes in. You already know that. The key lot has 3 beats. Flip to the top of the head, return, and then make the X. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the key lot. 1, 2, 3. Key lot means lightning, because this is supposed to be a quick blitz, right? So that's the key lot. 1, 2, 3. All 3 of those beats are the actual counter, or the actual seguida, depending on how you use that term, okay? But destroy, 1, 2, 3. Those are the 3 beats of the key lot. Then there's one more variable in this family, and we've gone so far, we might as well finish it. It's called split the Kawaiian. Okay, so you already know you're going to backhand destroy whatever angle comes in. Okay, so everybody think about angle 1 when we were expressing angle 1, right? We were doing it as a forehand diagonal. Now, if you're closed, can you loop from the backhand side? Can you loop that angle? So I'm on my backhand side. I'm allowing the tip to loop, kind of loop through. Yeah, a lot of people doing it, looking great. Fantastic. So there are 4 beats to split the Kawaiian. That's the first beat. Loop it. The second beat, you're gonna hit angle 2, but you're gonna open. The third beat, you're gonna come back up that line. And then the 4th beat, you're gonna do a regular backhand redondo, right down 12 o'clock. Here, okay? The most common mistake, people think that the first beat and the 4th beat are the same, and that is not correct. The first beat, I loop that angle 1, down the line, up the line, vertical redondo. So beat 1, I'm trying to make this slow enough so you can all see it. Beat 1 is the angle 1 line from Eskrima 1. Beat 4 is a true backhand vertical redondo. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the split the Kawaiian. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice job. Everybody looks really good. Okay. So everybody, let's do the entire series together, even though most of it, I'm not going to call Katana back in here. We're going to do it without a partner and just review it for ourselves, because you can all do it. So first variation, it almost feels anticlimactic, is just a backhand, whatever angle comes in, right? But that's the most important part of the entire thing. Second variation, you know you're going to always do a backhand before whichever variable I call for. Backhand the attack, make the X. So that's the second variation, is just, you know, as the follow-up to make that X. Nice. The third variation after you backhand is to make a redondo. And if you want to challenge yourself, you could do double redondo. But I mean, the bare minimum requirement, some of you are doing triples, you're all awesome. The bare minimum requirement is a single redondo. So that brings us up to 3 variables. Fourth variable out of 7 is the X to the redondo. So destroy the attack, make the X to the redondo. Nice. Fifth variable is redondo to X. Destroy the attack, redondo to the X. Nice. Sixth variable is the key lot. Does everybody remember it? Backhand, destroy, you already know that. Here's the key lot. Flick to the top of the head, make the X. That's all it was. 1, 2, 3. That's the key lot. Very nice. And then split the Kawaiian, which we were just working on. Destroy, loop it, down the line, up the line, vertical backhand redondo. Fantastic. All right. And I am currently in my 17th year in the Inosanto lineage. I have never seen or been asked to go beyond that. Those are the 7 variables that we've been doing. So that looks really sharp. So speaking of which, since we built that foundation, does everybody have a long and a short? A training dagger? If you don't have, a pencil will work right now, or a pen will work just fine if you don't have a training dagger. But it looks like a lot of you have gear. So, can you guys see me okay? Just give a thumbs up. It's getting dark in here, but are we good? Okay. Okay, very nice. All right, so everybody, great. And I avoid, again, I despise martial arts politics. I despise tribalism. I despise my style is better than your style. I want to be doing this my whole life. This to me is a lifestyle. I'm talking about all the martial arts in my practice, and those things chip away at the positivity in the martial arts. Now, why am I saying this? This weapons configuration, I refer to this as long and short. Long and short. You have a long weapon in your dominant hand. You have a short weapon in your complementary hand. And because everybody, again, they want to argue. That's why, you know, in the Inosanto lineage, we don't say, usually we try to avoid it unless it's just us. We try to avoid Kali or Eskrima or our niece. We just say the Filipino martial arts because people want to argue, oh no, this is right and this is wrong. You could have been training. Okay, so long and short, because this could be stick and dagger. This could be, I know this is a pencil, but use your imagination, stick and short stick. This could be sword and short stick, or this could be sword and dagger. The movements are universal. In my kids program, last thing I'll say, and then we'll learn some techniques. In my kids program, we do stick and short stick because I want to be able to teach this material, but I don't teach blade to kids. And then the minimum age to enter my adult program is 14. For the kids who age into my adult program, when they get into my FMA core curriculum, they're like, oh man, I already know all this. Yeah, it's the same movements. I'm just going to change the short weapon. So I like long and short because I don't like arguing. Oh, it's a spotty daga. It's Bristoni daga. Calm down. It's long and short. And if you learn the movements, they're pretty, especially what we're about to do, they're pretty gosh darn universal. So, gentlemen, you need the 4 count and you need the 5 count. So everybody take a modified version of the position that you were just doing. So hang on to your knives. I'm just showing you this. You were just doing this, right? Your left hand was palm down on your right forearm for most of you. Now, just rest your complementary hand palm up on your forearm, and most of you, it looks like, have blades. Point the blade or the business end of the blade at your opponent or forward. Okay, so the 4 count. 1, freeze this out. 2, smash the toe. 3, hit the chin. 4, flip this back over and hit the temple again and bring it back. So, and I'm sorry I didn't say it the first time. Beat 1, the target is the temple. So temple, toe smash, chin, temple. 1, 2, 3, 4. And return. 1, 2, 3, 4. Temple, toe smash, chin, temple. And I know on beat 2, I know it looks like I'm doing something with this dagger. All I'm doing is I'm moving my left hand up in tandem with dropping the long weapon to make myself a little bit faster. I'm not really like thrusting with this, even though it kind of presents that way. It's more corkscrewing my hands, both hands, so that toe smash happens really fast, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Until you can just kind of flow through it. 1, 2, 3, 4. One other common thing I see, beat 3, that was wrong. Beat 3 is not a swat. Let the tip drift, then flip it over and smack him in the temple again, okay? Because of the time, sorry everybody, I'm gonna teach you this very quickly, and then you can watch the video and practice on your own. I'll tie everything together. So that's the 4 count with long and short. The 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Redondo. As that redondo finishes, I step in, or thrust. It's kind of a thrust slash hybrid. Beat 2 is here. I'm in a left lead. 3, backhand the stick. 4, backhand the dagger as you open. 5, hit an angle 1 and come back to where you started. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or with the dagger, you can do slashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I start and finish in the same position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Either of those are acceptable, okay? Now, because I'm running out of time, I'm sorry to shortcut this, but you will have the video after it renders. I'm going to go a little fast, and then everybody can practice at home with the video before we have class next week. Where you want to go is the following. You want to be able to do all 7 of the backhand variables to the 4 count. That's the first thing. So destroy to the 4 count. Destroy to the X to the 4 count. Destroy redondo to the 4 count. I would run through all 7 variables. So X to redondo, redondo to X, key lot, split the Kawaii. Then all 7 variables to the 5 count. Just the destruction to the 5 count. The, say the X to the redondo to the 5 count. The redondo to the X to the 5 count, right? All of the variables that we worked on. Lastly, all 7 variables to the 4 count, to the 5 count. This will really give you all something to play with before next week. So let's start with the redondo to the X. Destroy, redondo to the X, to the 4 count, to the 5 count. Destroy, key lot, to the 4 count, to the 5 count. Destroy, split the Kawaiian, to the 4 count, to the 5 count. Okay? So in that way, I'm tying everything that we did together. You have the numbering system, which again is called Eskrima 1. That's the first numbering system that I teach. The amount of background experience I have here is a little shocking. You all have great backgrounds and lots of training, a lot of you that I know. Remember, I was just saying, Eskrima 1 is the first numbering system that I teach. I'm not saying you in your own practice have to give up any other numbering systems that you know. Not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the first one that I teach. Then we started looking at the backhand series, okay? We had 7 variables for the backhand series. In fact, I'll just physically go over all this for you one more time, even though we'll end a few minutes late. Sorry, but this way I can wrap this up for all of you. Destroy, destroy to the X, destroy to the redondo, destroy X to the redondo, destroy redondo to the X, destroy to key lot, destroy to split the Kawaiian. So that gives you 7 basics, just the backhand series. And I should have done that when I was not holding the dagger, but we learned that as single stick material, right? Then we only added 2 long and short tools. That's all we did. The 2 long and short tools we added were the 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 count again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was with slashes. You can also do it as kind of thrusts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you might despise the term, and I certainly respect that. Kind of as homework, if it's possible, before next week or before the next time I see you in class, these are the 3 modalities for long and short that you want to work on. All 7 of those variables to the 4 count. So I'm only going to do the first 2, okay? Just the destruction to the 4 count. The second one, destruction to the X to the 4 count. The next modality would be the whatever follow-up, all 7 variables, excuse me, to the 5 count by itself. So let me take the next 2. Destroy X to the redondo to the 5 count. And then the next one, that was splashes. So I'll do this one as thrusts. Destroy redondo to the X to the 5 count. So that's variables to the 5 count by itself. The last one is the hardest one. All 7 variables to the 4 count to the 5 count. You got it. So key lot is the second to last one. Destroy, make the key lot, make the 4 count, make the 5 count. And then split the Kawaiian would be the last one. Destroy, nice and slow. There's the 4 beats of the split the Kawaiian. Here's the 4 count into the 5 count. Okay, so there's a lot there. And if I'm being real honest with you, I didn't see, hey buddy, I didn't see how this was all going to thread together until the very end. But there you go. That's how we threaded it together. So I will stop this recording, gentlemen. I'm going to end the meeting. I thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you